dear friends and colleagues, welcome to the Estonian presentation. I'm very happy to be here on the occasion of an important panel, which is dedicated to the role of the European Parliament in supporting research and development in innovation. And also, I'm very happy to have distinguished guests today here. We have the Minister, who will speak just in a minute. We have distinguished members of the European Parliament, who have been all listed on the page in front of you, as well as guests from Estonia. I'm just coming from the Competition Council, and it's a coincidence that it takes place on the same day, although it's not a coincidence because it's actually supposed to be here on the same day, and we try to bring those two events together. And during the discussions, quite a lot was told about the importance of research, the importance of innovation, and there was also an observation that if we see the small hints of revival of industry in Europe, the so-called Renaissance, we see that the comeback takes place mostly in the areas where you have innovation, where you have brains, where you have smart developments. So it is the skills which matter here, the leadership skills, the innovative skills that Europe has. So we really have to focus now more on that if we want to be competitive, and if we want that, and that our industry and the competitive economy contributes to the economic growth. There are maybe two issues which I think will be also raised today as far as research is concerned. One is finances. So how the research is financed, and how we can increase this share. We already know that there is kind of a target in nation's GDP to have a certain part of GDP devoted and dedicated to research and development, and not all of the countries are living, member states mainly are living up to this target. So the question is, to have enough money in the budgets, how we can raise the money, the part of budget, and from alternative sources. And the second issue is how to make more and better contact between the research area and the real economy, the industry or services or whatsoever, so that you really can apply what you are searching for in economy, so that it would contribute to growth. So with those words, maybe I will confine my introductory words to what I have said, and give the floor to the Minister. After that, we will have a brief video message from Mr. Buzek, and then also a contribution from the member of the ITRE committee, Mr. Christian Skarins. And then after a small break, we will come to the panel. So that's the, and of course we have afterwards the networking reception. So that's the plan for this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'll try to say a few words on the topic of research and real economy, as the ambassador said, and perhaps touch upon the relationship of European Union and member states' role in this regard. Of course, the Europe 2020 strategy is an ambitious plan, and its implementation over the years in member states has certainly brought about positive changes and has helped to improve the efficiency of research system in Europe. However, we still see economic worries in Europe, both in short term, and face rather serious issues of competitiveness in the longer term. Although we already agreed in Barcelona in March 2002 to raise the R&D expenditure levels to 3% of GDP, initially setting the targets optimistically to be achieved by year 2010, we still today see large differences between member states in R&D funding and in innovation performance. I would also like to remind you of another objective also agreed in 2002 to increase the share of business funding to two-thirds of total R&D investments, and unfortunately many of us still struggle to achieve this goal, both the general goal of achieving 3% of GDP and also the sub-goal of private investment in research and development. For this reason, I'd like to stress that for the completion of the European research area, stronger efforts must be made by the European Union and all member states to create the conditions for reducing and in the long term overcoming the innovation gap in Europe. I think it's very important for many reasons, but perhaps most importantly symbolically, to stop the increasing talk of two-speed Europe, because if we let this innovation gap to carry on this way, the European research area and in fact the idea of single Europe as such will remain just a slogan without any real substance. Of course, this is a task in which those member states that are lagging behind must do their homework in terms of funding, but there is clearly also a matter of European level acting in order to achieve this goal. In Estonia, the last 15 years, both public and private investments in R&D have increased considerably. In fact, it has increased from 0.6% in year 2000 to 2.2% in 2012. This is in fact the biggest growth in the EU for the period. We have set a target of achieving 3% of GDP by 2020, which is also the goal set in our official our research, development and innovation strategy documents. The role of the state and the EU, as we see it, is to create a favorable environment for the research, development and innovation. Estonia makes continuous efforts to stimulate innovation and growth. Our public investments are clearly made with the aim to generate and maintain a certain level of knowledge base and to support talents. And of course, both of these are prerequisites for innovative companies. State also leverages business investment in research and innovation and creates incentives for universities to offer their services to the private sector. Of this, our representatives of both Tartu and Tallinn University of Technology can tell you a bit more in the panel. We're convinced that the effective implementation of our research, development and innovation strategy will unleash Estonia's potential as a highly competitive, knowledge-based society and a startup hub, and will consequently trigger economic growth. I think here a case in point is Estonian, well, let's say IT success story. It's an excellent example of the synergies created by public and private sectors. The Estonian IT sector is open to collaboration with education and research institutions. There are both private entrepreneurship promotion initiatives such as Garage 48 and Startup Wise Guys, as well as public-private partnerships in the IT sector such as technology development centers and the IT Academy. The IT Academy supports the supply of highly skilled ICT specialists to the Estonian labor market, and generally tries to make Estonian education system more attractive for those interested in studying IT. As a result, Estonia has become a world-class destination for smart IT solutions, and I'd like to stress that in this development, the state has been a strong driver of this IT development by trying to boost IT innovation within the public sector. We have actually managed to increase the innovation and competitiveness and dynamism really of the private IT sector, which has then moved further away from the public sector procurements to become a successful exporting industry. Based on our example, I believe that both enterprises and R&D institutions in Europe need to be more active and make efforts to find ways to collaborate in order to effectively use the existing R&D infrastructure and take advantage of our research excellence. Otherwise, we end up facing the so-called European paradox, where our research and development expenditures are globally relatively high, but do not stimulate the economy nor lead to economic growth, since the economic benefit of our R&D investments is taken out somewhere else. At the same time, we see that there are signs of multinational companies redirecting both their R&D investments and manufacturing to the developing countries away from the EU. Our common aim should be to stimulate the R&D investments in Europe while maximizing the impact of R&D on economic growth. Now, what can be done to achieve this aim? I'll perhaps signal a few possible ways of answering to that question, and I'm sure that the following discussion can go more into detail on these. Firstly, further efforts are obviously needed to achieve the 3% goal, both domestically and at the level of the EU policies. The involvement of sectoral policy domains, such as agriculture, health, defense, environment, in research and development should increase significantly. Based on Estonian experience in the government, I can say that it's really tough, because most ministries see research as something of a domain of Ministry of Education and Research. You should have the money, you can invest into this sphere, it's none of our business. But of course, in order to increase the actual financial funds, other spheres of policy should be much more engaged, and that's also will obviously contribute to more linkage between what is that being done in research institutions and what is really needed in real economy. Secondly, speaking of resources, we need to develop mechanisms to support synergies between the national, European and international funding. This would create a solid basis for national research and development systems also in those member states that are currently underrepresented in transnational research cooperation activities. The flexible use of structural funds is also extremely important for such countries, as it allows participating in joint programming and in the construction of international research infrastructures, which are both crucial for making full use of the European research area potential. Thirdly, while pan-European cooperation and the implementation of European research area are of high importance to Estonia, the differences between research and development systems of member states should be respected. There are no one-size-fits-all sustainable solutions possible in the research and development sector, and this should be taken into consideration in the EU level RDI planning and policy implementation. Lastly, it is important to cross the divide between our high-tech companies, our education, and research and development system. There is a high degree of interdependency between education, research, and business. Unfortunately, this fact is not fully acknowledged by all actors in the mentioned sectors. For example, in Estonia, day after day, I hear criticism by the business saying that the education system does not provide the labor market with the necessary skills. And that the policies of the states are not supporting enough young people's creativity, innovation, entrepreneurial skills, and so on. At the same time, we have in Estonia created a legal framework for business to be active in actually telling us what should we do in the education system, both in vocational training and on other levels. However, we quite rarely receive any concrete proposals on what should be done differently, nor do we see the practical steps taken by business sector to tackle these challenges. Recently, just one example, oil shale industry is one of booming industries in Estonia. Representatives of that sector turned to me and said that they don't get enough engineers to prepare for increased capacity. And then I asked whether you have actually went to the regional higher education college in one of the towns that prepares those specialists. And then they told me, yeah, it's a good idea, maybe I should talk to them. To take the next step, we need a clear input from entrepreneurs on what are the required skills, competencies, and other deliverables of our policies. I hope this will get better in Estonia, and hopefully progress will be made also in other countries. I'd like to invite the participants of the panel and the audience to have a debate on the role of member states, R&D institutions, businesses, and the European Union in the economic recovery through possible increased investment in research and development. Finally, I want to emphasize the importance of addressing the increasing social demands to see clear results and improvement of R&D activities for the society. Just coming out of budgetary talks for next year's budget, I can say that it is rather tough to explain the necessity to invest in research and development, since all spheres need more money. And in order to actually prove to other, to the society at large and other ministers that this is a necessary investment, we really need to improve the way we are able to calculate and assess the impact of those investments on the real economy, so that these policies and the spending would have a clear impact on everyday life of citizens. For that reason, the expected results and effect of R&D investments and publicly funded research need to be assessed more thoroughly. That said, and now finally to conclude, I want to take the opportunity and invite everybody to participate in the Researchers' Night taking place tomorrow all over Europe. This will clearly not solve all the problems of funding of research and development, nor will it overcome the gap between research institutions and the real economy, but I think it's a perfect occasion for seeing the clear link between what science is doing and what the society itself is looking for and what it needs. Thank you very much.
Thank the Minister for an enlightening contribution and also provoking some ideas and thoughts for our further discussion. One word which maybe is going through or as a line on the, of course, the targeting issue, so that the funds what we are and the resources what are limited, that they are really targeted and going in a smart way. And the internal question that what type of skills we really need in a society, if we're concentrating on one hand on engineers and biologists and IT people, we also need philosophers, artists and writers.
Like myself.
Yes, historians. So this kind of imbalance what you need for the wealthy development of the society. But I don't want to preempt the discussion. I hope those issues will be addressed later on. May we now take a small time to have a look at the greeting or the first word from Mr. Pusek, who is the chair of IPRA committee. Please.
Growth, competitiveness and job creation, we made it a clear priority when negotiating. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends from Estonia, few remarks on behalf of ITRE committee about such an important issue, how to help competitiveness, growth, creating jobs through research and innovation. What European Parliament could do in this direction. So let me say, once again, on behalf of the ITRE Committee of the European Parliament, I would like to thank the organizer for setting up a seminar on research and innovation for economic growth and competitiveness. I appreciate your choice to focus on the European Parliament's role. The issues you will talk about have always been high in the agenda of the ITRE committee, and I hope that your discussions today will also effectively contribute to the discussions in our House. As you know, this year we are celebrating 30 years of European research programs. It took 3 decades of effort to make the current program Horizon 2020. We can also say it's framework program number 8, a real European flagship and the world's largest research and innovation program. As a former rapporteur of the 7th framework program, the previous program, I am particularly happy of this achievement. But let me go to the essence, what I wanted to say. 80% of publicly funded research in Europe still takes place exclusively at national level, and only 15% of funding is coordinated in intergovernmental organization or in Horizon 2020. We cannot avoid duplications, and to do the same in several member states with the same results at the end, losing money. Changing these proportions is essential, not only for the sake of research itself. We need a common area of research and innovation in Europe based on a strong scientific and technological base in order to catch the train of economic growth, competitiveness, like Japan, United States, and China. The EU, together with the member states, has already done a lot in this direction. Also in the European Parliament, deeper cooperation, reduced fragmentation, and less duplication of research efforts can already give us an efficiency gain of 9 to 11 billion euro per year until 2030. So it means altogether 160 billion euro. But much still remains to do. we need to better coordinate national research and innovation policies, and we need to use the right regulatory tools to consolidate the European research area. So, consolidate regulatory tools, that's something in front of the European Parliament, and the European Parliament remains fully committed to this objective. The Parliament is not only a law maker, it is also one of the two arms of the EU budgetary authority. Over the years we have pledged for support for economic growth, competitiveness and job creation. We made it a clear priority when negotiating multi-annual financial framework, the last one a few years ago, as well as in resolutions on annual budgets. As you might know, the European Parliament also fought for an increased budget for Horizon 2020 with at least 100 billion euros for joint research in the European Union. I very much regret that this approach was not fully shared by the Council, which enforced a reduction instead. Currently, we are discussing the Parliament's position on the 2015 budget. On behalf of the ITRE committee, I am preparing an opinion on it. I am happy that there is broad consensus for enhanced financial support in the ITRE committee between all the political families. It's not very often in the European Parliament that we agree in 100%. I am at the same time very worried by the heavy cuts which the Council proposed to the draft budget, as if Council support to research really remained in words and much less in actions. To achieve our ambitious Europe 2020 goals, we simply cannot give up the targets on research and innovation. We cannot afford stagnation in research intensity. We need more joint efforts, more commitment, and last but not least, more funding at regional, national and EU level. Regional, it means also structural funds. We should spend a lot of money thanks to structural funds, also helping our small and medium enterprises. But how to use our money for research? It's mainly responsibility on the level of the member states. Because we should also think about sending money for research community, for research, innovation, through industry, because industry should decide about the topics of research, the most important from point of view of innovations. It would be also great and supportive idea. I count on your support in all this matter, and I wish you very fruitful discussions today. All the best.
Well, it would have been very strange if being an Estonian representation, we wouldn't have an information technology solution for the speech. And I'm quite sure that the message was got over very clearly from Mr. Puusek that research and innovation is very high on the agenda of ITRE. Also, he emphasized that there is European money available. ITRE and European Parliament are supporting to make this money through investment and structural funds available. But it's only, even if sounding quite big, altogether 160 billion for the whole period, it is only a small piece of the puzzle, and it's only 15% of what is expected to be in the sector. So we very much hope that the member states also follow the suit and contribute to this very important area. We're also very happy to have today here several members of the committee who will participate and contribute to our discussion. And as a lead to the panel discussion,